Hello bicycles, my name is Hotsty and welcome to a brand new series Factorio Space Age. We are here on our beautiful planet of Nauvis, where in the last series we built up this interesting base of hexagonal rail to facilitate our factory, and I think we did a pretty decent job with it. And in this series we want to visit the inner three planets and basically augment our factory here on Nauvis, but also build up something cool on those planets. The planets are Fulgura, Gleba and Vulcanus. We will not necessarily visit them in that order, but in order to do so, we need a spaceship, and we have one spaceport that we are using to build spaceships, and we will need a second spaceport that we will use to supply these colonizing spaceships, so with materials that we want to send from Nauvis to any of the other planets in a kind of one-off situation to get things started. So let's get right into it. Shoot up our platform. We'll call this colonizer, because that's what we want to use it for. And we'll tackle that spaceship first, and then in a second step we will make a copy of this spaceport, because we will probably need almost all the materials in some way or another to supply the other planets and see where we add them. So here we need a bit of defense, because well, the small asteroids we just can grab, but if we travel to the inner planets, there will be asteroids that are a bit bigger, like the ones you see floating there around in the background, and those we need to shoot up first. And the nice things here with turrets is that you can pass through the materials, the magazines that you need. So that's a nice setup, and we will have a collector here on each side. Actually, this one needs to go out one further. There. We need on the ground there, and we need quite a bit of storage space here as well. So let's do this. Then we need to get that under here, and we probably, because we are a bit lopsided here, let's add another collector here on this side and have another turret here. Actually, we can move that down to there. And then we will connect this. We will also need to produce ammunition, so let's add 2 assembly machines to do that here at the back. Insert here and there. And we will see where we get the materials for that. Next up is we need to process the things we get here from the belt. So let's have 3 processing units here. Set those up. And input, 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 output, 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 and also here on this side, because with these, not everything is crushed 100%, so we get always a bit of leftover that we want to return onto the belt so it can be processed next round. That of course means that here on this side we also need to have the filter set, so we only output the good processed crushed things. And there, and here we have filter for ice. Nice. And then we need an engine. Let's place that back here. We need production of fuel, and probably we could do well with some fuel tanks here. Then fuel we're producing there. Let's try this. So here we want to create that one. No. Let's switch this around and have this going there and this going here. And then do it that way. And let's switch this out for long-handed. Set the filter again. Because then basically say do it that way. Then here we can have ice to water. And well, let's do it the correct way around. And then on the same belt we can also melt these things. Have output there. this way around. Nice. So means this goes around here. Need. Let's not build through on there. Let's have a red one there. Go up here. And let's come out one more. And we'll see why shortly. And then here we will have 3 inserters, or in this case exerters, that will get rid of the excess materials that we have on our belt, because we want to have it somewhat balanced, so that the belt does not clog up with one of the materials that we get, because we will need all 3 of them, and actually ice is probably the one that we will struggle the most, so let's have ice double the amount. Right, so I think all that we are missing now is a bit of power. So let's try to fit in solar panels wherever we can. That's why I added it there. It's a bit of space. And then we shall fill any of the larger gaps with accumulators, because we need that as well to bridge any peaks. Can have 3 here. And then we need to fill gaps in our platform. Otherwise this thing will not fly. That should be good. I think up here we are missing some underground. And once that's built, we should be good. So now let's figure out the other port, spaceport, and I'm thinking I want to put it in up here, which means I need to add a bit more rail to connect these parts, and then I will just copy a large part of this setup minus the factory here on the side, and then we probably have to decide where to go first and what materials we need there. While I was standing here pasting in the blueprint, something marvelous happened, because as my robots were actually building up the blueprint, I got resupplied with all the materials, because this is right next to our logistic hub, and we have a connection here with the network, and this basically means that anything we're producing down there, we don't need to produce up here, which at this point is probably everything that we have. Maybe we will have production up here for something that we need in high quantities. That's just the setup down there just cannot cope with. But I think for now we should actually be good, and we can decide where to go first. So in my first space age run, I went to Vulcanus first, and I think that was a good choice. But I think now let's go to Fulgura first. I don't want to go to Gleba first because Gleba comes with quite a few challenges that I don't want to face right at the beginning of this series. So Fulgura it is, and if we look at Fulgura, there we basically have scrap, and we need to build recyclers. Recyclers need all these materials, but if we look at scrap recycling, we can see we get all these materials and more out of it. So probably we will just need some to craft our first recycler. So a bit of steel, a bit of iron, a bit of processing units, a bit of concrete, and that should get us going. But then we probably also need a few assemblers, belts, underground splitters, and so on, so that we don't have to craft them on site. And basically, once our spaceship is built up, we can then say, okay, we can define here a new group where we define what materials we want. We can even name that initial Fulgura supply. And let's think what we want here. We want these. I think 100 will be enough. We might want a few electric furnaces. Oh, we definitely need accumulators. I would say 500. We need some pumps. We need quite a few chemical plants. I think 50 should be enough to start us. And then let's see here. 1,000, 150. 300 of those. $200. 50 of the large ones, 50 substations. We want to have logistics. Let's have 200 logistic bots. 100 here, because I don't think I can carry my robots on me, so 50 will be for my personal supply. Then we need pie pitch 400, underground 100, and we need, oh, we only need to get us started. And the steel. The blue ones. And was it concrete? Let's see. Oh. So we have not yet researched it yet. We have to, yeah, normal concrete. Nice. So probably we don't have those materials supplied there. So let's do this. Have you red chests there? Also have on here, and then that there, and probably also down here we want to have we don't need to have chests everywhere. And I think this one will do. Nice. And with that, we should be good to go. Now it's just time for the platform to finish. Our small colonizer is complete, and we are stocking up on ammunition. I think we should have a bit of ammunition on the side before we go out on a journey. And one of the questions I'm not sure is, will our power setup be sufficient for this? Because here in the orbit of Nauvis, that's certainly the case. But if we look at our star map, here solar power in orbit is 300%, and out here it's 120, so it's about a third. So we might struggle when we get there. And one thing that we need here for our colonizer setup that I forgot last time is we need a cargo landing platform. And we only need one, but we need one. So, and this is also something that we are not producing down in that space, and probably not something that we want to produce down there. So let's set up something like this. We don't need these recipes. What we need here is this one. We need to deliver the ingredients here. One slot should be sufficient. And as you can see, we have our first rocket set up to go. So we should be ready to stock up our colonizer next episode and head out to Volgura. Hope you enjoyed it and are looking forward to that adventure. Until then, goodbye.